Name of Allah. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Dear audience, welcome in this webinar organized by the World Muslim Communities Council about coexistence and citizenship, sustainability in communities, in multicultural communities in Europe. We are pleased to have Dr. Asmaa Abbas, a journalist from Denmark and the head of Denmark 24 platform, and also Dr. Abdulsamad, the head of German Citizenship Institute in Germany. We start with Dr. Asmaa. Dr. Asmaa, how can media participate in promoting multi-citizenship, coexistence in the European multicultural communities? Assalamu alaikum. Many thanks for you for this kind invitation, allowing the chance for me from Europe, especially in Denmark, to speak to the World Muslim Communities Council. And I follow your activities with high follow-up from audience. So many thanks for this chance. My best regards also to Dr. Abdulsamad from Germany. Welcome all. In fact, in order to answer this question particularly, media, it's a reflection for the community. So media reflect the communities, and me as a journalist or a media activist, it doesn't always reflect the true picture for the community or the full picture. But even though, still media is a picture for what the community is based, the pillars, foundations, cultures, and also the products, cultural product, or even the outcomes at the end. We can say at the end of political era or any. In order to understand the role of media, or we need to speak about the real community, how it is, and then what is the reflection of that on media. When we speak about the political challenges and the Islamic identity in Europe, we need first to speak, and I will speak within this limited time, about the challenges, then the success model. When we talk about maintaining the Islamic identity, especially in AI, social media, which is today foundational pillars recent years. We think about the digital challenges, cultural challenges, but also there is an important one, which is the political deep transformation in Europe recently, which also impact the Muslim communities and influence it directly, especially the Muslim communities as citizens in these European countries. The first challenge, which is moving from managing immigration to redefine that. Many people, ladies and gentlemen, they followed with the news which that Europe recently has a critical transformation in regarding immigration. In the previous centuries, it was about how to welcome them, integrate them, but now the question is how we minimize the number of these immigrants, how to make it more strict for asylum and demographic changes in European countries. This is very important. When we talk about demographic changes, it also impacts the Muslim communities specifically. And from my own experience, more than quarter of a century, I can see how the media speech changed based on the political changes. And I can say demographic changes. In the past, they used to say foreigners, immigrants, but today they say Muslims, they say Middle Easterns, or even Muslims, or in the best case, countries with most Muslims. So this feeling, the Muslims, they are directly targeted. That make the European citizens, the Muslims, reconsider and redefine their identity and belonging, which they haven't been asked for. In order to be fair, yes, there are huge challenges as there is a great successes for Muslims in Europe. There are other sectors facing great challenges in integration. We can talk long for it, especially in Scandinavian countries. It's different from other European countries. But in order not to go out of your answering the question and this webinar, I will not talk about these challenges and also these marginalized sectors and show these challenges. But yes, we have these challenges. Who is responsible about it? This is a great research to speak about to reach the results. The European agreement changed, especially from immigration from Muslim countries, and now we have European Muslims. So European to be Muslims. The second challenge, which is the reach from the right wing, from the margin to the middle. In the past, parties they used to demonstrate to be marginalized all the time. They are criticizing the governments and they play on the side of the immigrants, especially as there is successes, there are also challenges. So those right parties, especially two in Denmark, two parties, their agenda, they focus on Denmark, Danish Muslims today. Today, those parties, they are part of the government and they have a great influence in forming the government. What is more serious, the success of these parties is not about the position in the parliament, but also imposing their agenda on the other partners. So the ideas which we used to speak about it is extremist is now part of the government of the speech, and there used to be a talk about the integration of Muslims. But now we speak from integration to the existence. I have all the documented resources because maybe it's a little bit shocking, but I have the evidence on that. So this is the third one, talking from discussing integration of immigrants, which is mostly Muslim communities, to be present on the European lands. This transformation take us to speak about more critical questions about the size of Muslim communities, the acceptance of this size in Europe, and what is the impact of this immigration on the national identity in Europe. This is always mentioned in the media. And what is the demographic changes that will happen in Europe in the coming centuries? So this is what people alert the others in Europe. Talking about these questions in the political entities that reflect greater change in the nature of the discussion we can see on the media, especially the popular media, which is financed by the tax in Europe and in Denmark, and also on social media, the formal one for politicians. This is how the media is seen, and this is the main pillar for what's published in the media, the traditional one, either a news or a story, or even the interaction of with the politicians. Sorry. And by nature, how people interact with these inputs, which is stemmed out of the traditional and formal channels of the politicians. When the ideas of the right wing is part of the main ideas of the country, here it get more legitimacy and have the ability to change the policies which impact the Muslim communities in the European countries. Another challenge, which is psychological, cultural environment in Europe, youth they are not impacted by the laws, but also with all this media climate, which is rarely talking about the Muslim youth in a positive way, and most of time it's about negative ideas, not in the traditional, but also politicians. As you know, the citizen, he is part of the political, he participate in the election, in the municipality election, parliaments. So we are part of these nations, but always they describe us as the immigrants and their ancestors, the immigrants and their ancestors, and recently Muslims. Another challenge, social media, accelerating all these crises in the past ideas or political ideas, influencing the community slowly, but with social media within hours, millions of people see it. Also, algorithms can amplify extremism because it has a high view rate. And so media with politician shaping the awareness of people. Another challenge, which is AI and forming new stories. Today, when we talk about answering every question through AI now producing the knowledge. So if we go back to the main point, the battle between media and awareness, it's not only university and school, but also algorithms, AI, digital platforms that shape knowledge and reproduce it. Before I move to a quick success model, and here we are talking about the impact of media. Media is a reflection for the communities. Before I move to a success story, I would like here to say regarding databases and the AI producing, I have a personal experience. I am not a programmer. I haven't studied that field. I studied civil engineering and media. But today, with this open world, there isn't any excuse to say I don't know or I cannot. For this reason, I established by myself. It took me months, but maybe programmers 1 or 2 weeks. So I insisted to establish a platform using AI to analyze bias. It's called biasscan.io, bias, B-I-O-S, so searching for bias. And the shock when I asked the platform, I myself designed it, so I trusted the bias and how it is programmed to detect bias in text. It is suitable for formal data, HR, when there is an announcement for a job vacancy, is there bias to men or to women, or announcement, how to know it is objective or subjective, is it biased to a party. So when I used to read in the media, I always smell bias between the lines. So the reader who is not paying attention, he will take it as facts. So that encouraged me 1 year ago to establish this platform, bias detection. What surprised me, I asked AI to write a text with bias. I haven't identified what. I said I want to test that platform, write a text with bias, with a clear bias, in order to test it. It use Arabic, English, and German, French languages. So it wrote it in English, and AI wrote also a note. There is a clear bias, but it is by for the reason of testing. So even it cleared his responsibility. So I took it, copy and paste. I put it in the AI. I design it. The tool design it and say to me there is a severe bias to women, 90%. The same with the English, French. Finally, I say to it, translate it to Arabic as it is. I copy and paste. AI with the same tool gave the result as the following. There is no bias with low percentages, 10% only bias. That's really make me reflecting because in the past we used to focus on media to take the information, the social media, traditional media, and now people they are using AI. So if the new method, which is AI, is to that extent give you that result, so there's a problem in the stereotypes on the WW web from establishment till now. What I want to say, AI is an extension for the reflection of the communities and media in the media. That's what we need to work on, especially in the Arab world, investing in the databases. Because if the coming generations took what stereotypes available, which is not realistic, which is faulty, and based their life principles for the future. This is like what our fathers, our ancestors, we need to reflect on it. Sorry to take a long time. I will move to the success story. When we talk about Muslims and media in Europe, we're talking about challenges, but Islamophobia, right wings, pressure, psychological and culture. But we need to speak also about success. Reading the history from the perspective of challenges will frustrate people. And this is a lot of reality recently, especially after the new memorandum for immigrants, a quick deportation to Rwanda, to African countries with the respect. But this is what's happening, so that creates more frustration. So, but still there is hope and giving Muslim communities confidence to work. I would like to speak about an experiment in Denmark recently that explore how the Muslims together and communities they can change the political and media discussion and that lead to changing the law and legislations. Few years ago, there used to be irritating actions about against the Holy Quran. Used to be with some activists that they want to be in media. The most important is right-wing personalities that burnt Holy Quran books. Me myself, I took photos and they hurt me. I have the journalist card, even though still they say bad words about me. By time it's now expanding, people are imitating that and now move to Sweden. So burning Holy Quran in front of the Arabic embassies, in the mosques, in front of the mosque, in public sites, media, they talk about it about freedom of expression. To understand how this started, we need to go back to 2017 with the dynamic Danish parliament. People say it's the mid, but it's part of the right wing. This they cancelled and it was headed by the current prime, the foreign minister from a right-wing party. In 2017, the parliament cancelled the part about harming or insulting religions. So, especially for the religious symbols, they cancelled this law, and the current foreign minister, Laszlo K, the current foreign minister, he himself, at that time in his government, they presented the law as a freedom, as a successful freedom of expression, and they say democratic communities not need not to protect religion symbols, but politics will not go always on the way you expect because of media. The accidents of burning Holy Quran is not only in Denmark; it's became an international issue, and Danish governments asked by the nations, Islamic nations, with the Islamic countries and security entities. They are talking about this impact on the national security and the outside interests. And here, because of the media and how it's mentioned, the country was talking about burning Holy Quran is part of freedom of expression. It's now a political case, and with the strong Muslim solidarities, we find the most important, even though it's very important, the burning the Holy, but it's about the reaction of Muslims. Maybe they are different in things, but they agreed on the Holy Quran is a red line. So many conferences and web workshops talking about this phenomena. Here we have seen very important here Muslims when they organize themselves in a calm way, structured action, they can make influence that will not happen in one week, one day, but will happen after a few years of canceling this law. No one was expecting in 2023 the government presented a law to say it is a crime to insult the religions, and here it's mentioned by Quran law. Within 6 years, because of media and the media momentum, do we say that liberal parties they became conservative? No, but it's the media coverage which led to costs in the security and economical level. The learned lesson, the main issues in the Muslim communities, especially on the organizational but not the random level, can make a difference. So the organizational work is better than the emotional work. What is seen to be impossible today can be possible tomorrow. Muslims they are not receiving only these policies in the Muslim in the European countries if they have the correct influencing tools and organizing and legal work under the laws for these hosting countries. No one should violate the country rules he is living at, or you can leave the country. But as long as you have, as a Muslim communities, to interact, you can interact within the law itself without breaking that law. Thank you very much for your listening. Sorry for taking a longer time, and hopefully I manage to give. I'm not sure if it's heavy or not. Hopefully I added something to this webinar. Thank you very much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much, Dr. Asma. you speaking, talking about different issues that we should stop at. I would like to ask another question in brief. Doctor, within the challenges that you talked about, you mentioned, can we say the model of integration in some European countries partially failed, or the problem in the implementation, not in the problem itself? Thank you very much for this question. I will try to be brief. I will give an example. When I lived in Canada, when we lived there, at first place, I was born in Abu Dhabi. We lived in an environment comprehensive, inclusive for all the entities and ethnicities. So I haven't got any problem or prejudge for any nationality, any party, or any different person. On the contrary, acceptance, how to coexistence with my colleagues in the school, in the primary school, in the secondary school, even though we were different from different religion in the same class. With that concept, we moved to live. I moved to live with my family to Canada. I saw the Muslims in the north of America, USA, and Canada, for example. In order not to take long, if you are productive, you work, you pay tax, not committing crime, you are a good citizen, and you are useful for the community. This is as a starting point. When I came to Denmark, it was totally different situation in Scandinavian countries. Part of the problem, the immigrants to North America, Canada and USA, they are different from the ones coming to Scandinavia, who came here to Scandinavia. Most of them, unfortunately, they suffered from different difficult conditions, wars, difficult circumstances, while the people, Arab and Muslims in USA and Canada, as a comparison, there isn't better or worse. They will not reach there without education, and university education or money. Here, the base, the quality of people, and no one choose where to live or the circumstances of wars. But even though the quality of people arrive to Scandinavia country, they are different from Arab and Muslims in USA and in Canada. In addition to that, as I mentioned at the beginning, the inclusion there, in order to be a good citizen, you need to be a productive person, paying taxes, not committing crimes. These are the foundations. While in Scandinavian countries, there is cultural huge differences between the Muslim environment. So when the Arabic Muslim person, even me, a Christian friend, I don't know what to do with my girl within this great openness, even though she is not Muslim. It's not about the religion, it's about our traditional habits. Here, the inclusion is by itself is difficult. To be accepted by Danish people, government, or even people, and also the left wing, when they approved the law of the Holy Quran, the left who welcoming the immigrants and the freedom of practicing, the freedom of religious, and they are talking, they are first grade people or second grade. They have objection on the legislation of burning the Holy Quran because it's part of freedom. If you would like to burn the Holy Quran, you can burn it. If you would like to go to the mosque, you are free. But here we benefit from freedom. If you would like to wear hijab, you can wear it. If not, you can. It's not obligatory. So getting back to your question, it is A problem here, the foundation here is different from other countries. When we come to these countries, what we are shocked, the body culture, for example, in schools, all schools here, governmental schools and private one, so most of it is governmental schools. They are mixed. After sport class, they will be taking shower for the male and females. But in reality, there is no curtains while you are taking shower or even wearing any clothes. This is another example for inclusion. When conservative people cannot do it, here you will find the conflict, and here media cover that and amplify it. And this is a small example. So there is failure in the integration, some part of it, because of the huge cultural differences between the Danish or Scandinavian cultures and the people coming from conservative environment. Another part of it, some mistakes which is done by the Muslim citizens. Of course, this is part of their responsibility. That's in brief. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Asmaa, for the enlightening of these points. Now we move to Dr. Abdulsamad Al-Yazidi. Dr. Abdulsamad, what are the main principles in order to build a sustainable model for coexistence that guarantee the participation of all the community elements and maintain its diversity? Thank you very much. At the beginning, I would like to thank you for your kind invitation, the World Muslim Communities Council, for their great efforts to enlighten and also to be always present in all the fields, which is a great interest for the communities. Also, I would like to welcome our dear guest, Dr. Asmaa, and I would like to thank her for the great clarifications she talked about the identity, citizenship, and the reality of Muslims in Denmark, where we benefited a lot from these points. Going back to your questions, I think the main principle to achieve good citizenship and good integration active within these communities that we are living at, and we considered our countries, the main points that we need to start from: identifying am I. When the person define himself by himself, who is he? Through that definition, he will be able to be active and pioneer in the community he is living at, especially if the definition is logical, realistic, correct? And vice versa. If he defined himself in a wrong way, here he will be on the margin. First, the question we need to ask in the communities that we are living at: who am I? This question is not a philosophical question, but it is critical that show the path that the person will follow and how impactful he is in the community. When the person answers this question, there will be a roadmap clearly drawn. Am I active and positive in my community? Is there a responsibility of participating in building that community, or I am marginalized, or I deal with it as a foreigner or a passerby? Here, we can focus exceeding some concepts, limited concepts, like the minority or even the immigrant, or as it was mentioned by our ancestors and mothers when they moved to these countries, that, as I said, is now our countries. We were born, we were bred up here, and we care about its prosperity. They used to call us the host workers. It's not an innocent title. It's about to say to our parents, you are here just guests. You are welcomed as long as you are part of the workers. We deal with you as like this. Also, our parents, they accepted that description. And at that time, no one spoke about integration, influence, participation. It wasn't present at that time. There used to be only covering up for these immigrants called by these names, and the other communities, they were satisfied by that. The problem that we can see now, and we are living it within the European context and in the West, especially, which is Islamophobia phenomenon, which is now killing, burning, and I always say it seems to be it's targeting a specific people, the Muslims, but in fact it's burning the countries, it's burning the values that these, like mutual respect, freedom of rituals, other values that we in Germany and in Europe we were proud of, and we always ask the others. So now, as Dr. Asmaa mentioned, they are now retrieving doing that, and there is an attempt to create exceptional exceptions in order not to be governed by the Constitution, which is our old reference by the law, and we all respect. Our parents, they accepted to be guests, and they thought they will be here for a short time and they will go back to their mother countries. If you accept to be a guest worker, you have no rights. You are not present positively, because the guest, as you know, he need to be under the supervision of the hosting entity. If I am a guest, when I visit the Dr. Asmaa as a guest, I cannot act at that house in the way that I want, like changing the furniture or changing the color of the wall. If I do that, it's unacceptable behavior. But if that house is my accommodation and I am part of this existence, here I can say we need to change, and I have positive presence. This model for citizenship, when we divorce these concepts, and here we talk instead a comprehensive citizenship to be positive, comprehensive. It's not a new one to our Islamic culture. It was established by Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, when he immigrated from Mecca to Al-Medina. Our Prophet, peace be upon him, he had to leave Mecca, his homeland, and here the feelings he carried Prophet Muhammad toward his homeland. He was effective in the community, sharing with people daily life, and participating for life full of justice and mercy When he moved, he said and said a few words. So when he was close to the to Al Medina, he said he when he went to the new country or homeland, he wasn't as a guest. He was like a citizen. He established, he built the mosque. My question to all, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, do you think he at that time he needed a place to pray, or his message it was bigger? He built through that mosque a center for solidarity, a center to enlight the culture of citizenship. The first thing he made mu'akha between the Ansar and Muhajirin, and he established the base for this new community. It was translated through international conferences, especially the conference that was organized in 2016 under a great patronage of King Muhammad Sadis. May Allah protect him, and organized by Abdullah bin Baya, the head of Abu Dhabi Peace Initiative and Marrakesh Declaration from Al Medina Agreement that made even Judaism, Christianity, and Muslims, all the community sector, and also in light of this comprehensive agreement in Germany in cooperation with the church, we translated to Germany and we presented in Frankfurt with attendance of the ambassador of the UAE and a Moroccan consul. So all our brothers to know that we cooperate with in the field of religion dialogue. Our religion gave rights to people. Marrakesh Declaration focused on the rights of minorities for non-Muslims in the Islamic countries. We as Muslims here, we ask for our rights and we criticize some behaviors, and at the same time we ask how in our country, in Muslim countries, as Dr. Asmaa mentioned, and here I would like to emphasize the Emirati model. We visited that country, the nice country, more than once, and we have seen how everyone coexists, and there is a great respect. No need from any party to stop their rituals, but within the laws, every person has got his right to practice his rituals. And I also attended a few years ago in a ceremony for the human fraternity. This is the International Day for Human Fraternity. My priest with the Cardinal Bishop from Germany, and he had the chance to do a prayer for Christians in the UAE. More than 3,000 believers from Christians, from the youth, from the women, children, and that model left here great impact for our colleagues here in Germany. They were in the past impacted with the stereotypes and with the misleading information. Through this model and this existence and the heritage that we have, if we present it in a nice way that in the community that we are living at, so here we will achieve coexistence that we want. Citizenship is not one-way model. Many people think that citizenship is to be with the country when it is good. When I mentioned a model from Germany, I belong to it and I am proud to be from Germany. Germany people, they say it's technology, it's a brand that we are proud of. We manufacture cars and we are proud of this part of our country, Germany. But we cannot be silent when we see currently Germany, as it was a hero in technology, is now producing Islamophobia and also the extremist wing parties. They're trying to have Nazist thinking in the conferences through the media or social media. So to be honest and to be also a correct citizen, we need to face this incorrect behavior through my responsibility from a national and religious perspective. The concept of citizenship is not we need to go away from riba of citizenship to be only with the prophet when there is prophets in the country, and when there is need, we go away. One of the things that now a threat not only Muslim countries or communities, which is the crimes that is practiced on Muslims. A few days ago in Edinburgh city, there was attack or assault in the middle of the road. These actions or crimes, it's not about Christians. We don't look at the attacker religion. The criminal is a criminal. He holds the responsibility and not the religion he is practicing. But this criminal action in the middle of Europe, sometimes on a Friday, sometimes Saturday, Sunday, and today is Monday, we haven't heard any speech of solidarity to that change the culture, the spirit of the German constitution, which is talking about the rights, and that constitution which condemn all the assault on human rights. If we look to the victim without moving according to the type or the religion or the ethnicity of the victim, there's a big problem, and that change the concept of the democratic country, human rights, which we are very proud of. Our German constitution is very unique because it gives the rights and also sharing between the country and between also the religion, especially when there is neutral dealing with all the countries at the same distance, but still It cooperates with the religion entities, while in other countries like France, there is problems, especially in the legal aspects, to deal with the religious entities, the failure in the implementation, the failure in implementation, and there is a phenomenon that is related to these negative actions. We call it here in Germany the problem of inclusion. In the past, we used to hear that we need to integrate, we need to be active in our communities in order to be accepted as fully citizen and the responsibility. Now the reality, whatever you are integrated, whatever you are active, still people will harm you. I will give you an example on this model. The women wearing hijab who used to work in the school, for example, in cleaning. One of our sisters as a cleaner going to the school or to the university to work as a cleaner, working with hijab. No one said you need to get rid of your hijab because you are inside the school or the university campus. When the daughter of this woman studied and she became a teacher, she went to the same school as a teacher to teach. She wasn't allowed to go to and work with hijab. This is the discrepancy between the two situations. And now we see our daughters, our sons, they speak about the language in a better way than the original one. We make our best to teach them Arabic and to maintain their religious identity. We know that the language is helpful, but still reality, people, they are thinking in Germany, they are dreaming in German language, and they are practicing it more than their language, even though they feel they are second class citizen. Here, it's not about the minority or Muslim community. This is a general problem that we need to alert people as what things need to be changed. We need to cooperate in order to change, as that happened in the past in Europe. Many people used to come from Europe, like in the commercial aspect, they used to come and talk about the human rights. Now there is a change for our Islamic countries. They need to play that role because we hear the minorities from non-Muslims, they feel more comfortable when they live, for example, in the UAE, more than living in Germany. I can remember the model, the Jews people in Germany, and you know the Nazi history, where they tried to correct that history through their solidarity with Israel. The head of the Jews center here, he declared in the middle of Germany, Israel is a guarantee for their life. They don't feel in Germany with safety. While that speech, no one will say or speak about it while they are living in our Muslim countries like UAE or other countries. So citizenship is not a one-way direction. And now I would like to speak about some transformation or changes in the European context, where I mentioned some changes that threat the community. As I mentioned before, the increase of Islamophobia. Facing this phenomenon, which is not a duty of us only as Muslim communities, but also there should be cooperation from everyone, and we are very happy that with initiative from Islamic countries, the United Nations, they declared in the 15th of March, the day where there was an attack on Christchurch Mosque in New Zealand. 51 persons were killed because they are Muslim. This is the day for International Day to fight Islamophobia. Also, we were proud the Arabic Countries League, they paid attention to this. And also there is an international conference organized in Azerbaijan in this topic. Citizenship, I would like to close with this remark. In my own opinion, if I would like to summarize it, citizenship is after I say, who am I, to make us positive and to go out of the margins. It is belonging and responsibility. It's not just a legal status or even residency or even nationality. It is a correct or real belonging to the context. Positive participation in building rights and also duties. And Islam teach us the Muslim in European countries, he need to know his role, to respect the laws, to participate in the public life, to defend the others' life, respect, and to be always a proud model in his behavior, in his moral, in his interaction. Citizenship is not melting in the community or isolation. On the contrary, it's about balance between the religious identity and the national belonging, the culture and the public interest, in harmony with the coexistence, which is the main pillar for the modern European countries. Believing so the Muslim will like for his brother what he like for himself. Part of the citizenship, the Muslim need to work for what's the good interest for his country and his nation. So citizenship in Islam, it is a moral responsibility and it is a civil commitment with a great understanding for a Sharia purposes, which is about the rights and achieving the interest and bringing what is good prosperity for everyone. Thank you very much, and sorry for taking longer time.